We're looking at expressions, the very, very basics of expressions, just enough to get you going. We're going to finish off looking at the loop-out expression, which is very simple and extremely useful. Let's go to our loop-out comp, and what we can do with loop is we can loop animation, so we can do a short piece of animation and then continue it with an expression. So we don't have to sequence anything or copy and paste keyframes. It's really good. So let's actually add a bit of time to our composition here so that we can see something looping indefinitely. Just going to make it a bit bigger, longer, sorry, and create some animation. And I'll do it on the position property. And over, zoom in a bit, over 1 or 2 seconds, I'm going to move the glass from one side of the comp to the other. I'll just copy that keyframe, paste it back there, and let's add on a bit of Siri doing something over there. Add some easy ease. And so now we've got a nice starting point, but we can loop that indefinitely with an expression. So let's add that. We're going to add edit expression, or come up to animation and add expression. And let's search through our expression menu under property for, no, let's just write it in loop, and it should turn up here, loop out. And that's all we need to do. We're done. We've now got an animation that will continue indefinitely till the end of the composition. So I imagine you can see some possibilities with that. There are a few different loop out options that you can apply, or different types of loop expressions. Let's have a look at one, which I just did see in our loop out in our menu there. But let's, for example, just say we want an animation to do a whole lot of stuff, or a sequence to do a whole lot of stuff, and then at a particular point we want to start looping. So over here we're going to have our animation doing something random. Alright, so like so. Just remove that expression. So random animation for a couple of seconds, and then at the 4-second mark we want to loop this indefinitely, just this part indefinitely. So we've got this sort of intro, and then it will loop. We can do that with, let's add an expression and have a look at that under our menu. Oops. Expression menu. There is the loop out with the cycle and a number of keyframes. And now we've got an expression that says loop out type cycle, which means to loop, and then number of keyframes, sort of counting backwards to start that loop. And 0, I think, refers to the first keyframe here. And then if I add 1 in there, it's going to loop just the last transition, I suppose. So but I want to loop this section, so I think the value that I've got to put in here is 2. So it's counting back 1, 2 to that point. And let's see what happens. We've got our intro animation. And then at a certain point, it starts to kick into the loop that we want to continue forever.